Hello and welcome to part 3 of the building and painting and decorating of all my 30 core vehicles. Now, I've done a lot of research because I do like to try and capture some real vehicles. So as you can see, I've been collecting old photographs from books and things and online, so that I could try and get the decals in the right places and the right decals for the right vehicles and tie it into some of the historical vehicles. So I've got photos going through the whole range of vehicles that I've got here. The majority of the vehicles, if not all, will be probably the Irish Guards, Battalion 2 and Battalion 3. I might just throw in a few others, but where I can, I'm going to try and use the exact insignia that I'm seeing on the photographs, you know, just to give it that bit more realism. So what I've done is I've set all my things out. I've got my little tray of water and my little sculpting stick, which I found really good for putting the transfers in place. And when I can find it, there it is. A trusty little blade to make sure I get nice crisp edges on the decals. So basically what I'll do, I'm going to do it a vehicle at a time, because I don't want to leave too many soaking at one go. And I just let them soak for a few minutes till they're starting to lift, and then ease them onto the vehicle. So what I'm going to do is I'll have a quick look at the first vehicle that I'm going to do, find out which decals that I need. I won't bore you with the details of me cutting them out. I'll just cut them out off screen, put them in there, and then when they're ready to transfer to the vehicle, I'll bring you back. Right, back in a minute. Right, I'm ready to start with the Cromwell tank. I've got a couple of historical pictures that I'm basing the decals on for this one. Unfortunately, I can't find the exact T number, but I've managed to find a T number that's very close to it. I don't think I need to get any more pedantic than that, otherwise I'm drifting off towards the rivet counter department, and but I do you know, want to try and make it as accurate as I can, but there are going to be discrepancies. I'm not always going to find the exact number or the exact emblem, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And on this one, I feel fairly sure that I'm getting everything right, except, as I say, the original T number. So what I do is I dip my brush in and lift the first one that I want. And just place it on the vehicle in its little pool of water. I'll try and close in a bit, but it's very... Let's adjust the camera. There you go, that's a bit better, isn't it? And then this is where I use the sculpt tool, because I found this is really good for moving the transfers around. And just drag it over to where I need it. That little bit of water gives me the time to get it into the position that I want it. Just take the blue bit off. He says it sticks to the bottom of the tank. There we go. So that's the 45 in place. Right, now I need the Guards badge. You see them? Now on that particular tank, I couldn't find, because a lot of the pictures of the original tanks, you know, that took part, not all of them have got the actual emblems on show. But I have found another one, again from the same group, and I've managed to find its group number symbol, which is the blue circle. So I'm going to take a little bit of a liberty here and add that to that one. I'll put it over there actually. So if I put it like that, you can see it. Unfortunately, on some of the black and white pictures, you struggle to make it out, and if you do, you've got to then cross-reference it to make sure you're getting the right colours. So we'll put the other one on the other side. There you go. So now we're just going to turn to the back. Now luckily I've actually got a rear photograph of this one as well. I think somewhere. I mean, it's just basically the same thing in reverse, only the it's placing it slightly higher up on the back here. So put the guards emblem on first. Moving around a bit. Better. Tell you what, when I was a kid doing models, I hated decals. I don't know whether I'm a sadist, but now I quite enjoy it. Alright, so let's get the on. think that's as good as I'm going to get it with my eyes to being straight. And then it shows on this tank the T number going underneath this, keep dragging it off camera, underneath this rear box. Bit of OCD coming in, making sure it's got equal amounts either side of the box. Sorry about that. And that's it. So I have actually, I mean, normally on the Shermans you'll get that number on the side, both sides. I can't really see any pictures of the Cromwells where the second T number is on show, or where it is, and I've seen the side and I've not seen it on any of them. I haven't seen it on the front. I've only seen it there on the back. I have soaked another one. The only other place that I could think to put it really, I suppose, is on the back of the turret, but I don't think that would make sense. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to leave that off, the second one, because I can't see any pictures with it on. So that's the first one done. I'll let that dry, and then I'll get myself set up again, and we'll have a look at one of the others. What I might do is, rather than dragging you through all of this, I'll put some of the emblems in place, and then I'll just show you what I've done on each vehicle, because otherwise it's going to be very repetitive to watch. So right, I'll be back in a minute, and I'll bring up the first of the Shermans. Right, so I've done the Sherman Firefly next. Now this one, number wise, it's based on one that was preserved from the battle at the Bovington Tank Museum. So I've took the numbers and emblems directly off there. I've took a slight liberty because the numbers were close, the emblem and the number were closer in than that, but obviously they'd be hidden by all this stowage, so I've decided, just aesthetically for me, to have them slightly wider out, which is not unusual on some of the other tanks anyway, but just thought I'd mention that. And then obviously again I've took the emblems from the side of that tank in the museum as well. The only thing that I've took again a bit of a liberty, I haven't got the right number, haven't got the name to put on it, so I've just gone with the red triangle emblem, and then on the back place the transfers there. So that's the Firefly done. Right, I'll get the next one done. One quick thing before I move on to the next one is I've noticed that on all the pictures, all the Fireflies, presumably because they were that bit more potent, would quickly be picked out by the German forces. So the recruits in the Firefly tanks would try and disguise the barrel, so you'd often get this kind of like white pyramids or zigzags on the end of the barrel to obscure it in view. Obviously the impression you're getting then is it's got the short barrel, so it's not a Firefly. So I've just took a little bit of time out just to paint that up on there as well. Right, I'll crack on with the decals and then I'll bring you back. Right, this is my Sherman 5. Again, Guards unit. It's B Unit 2nd Battalion, I think. Put them on the back as well. Right, on to the next. Well, I'm back and I pressed on basically and got the rest of them done, and it took quite some time, and you know, trying to check things up and make sure that there's, you know, that they're real and they're accurate. The amount of research I've had to do to come up with what I've got is amazing, really. You know, it's took me ages. That said, I've still had to take a few liberties where I just couldn't find anything. But I've tried to make it, you know, sit with the others well. You know, if I can't conclusively prove what emblems went where, I've just gone with the best information I've got. So, now where did I get to? I think I'd done the... yeah, I'd done the Mark 5, and then I went on, and this one's the Mark 3. Gone with the Guards emblem. That, I can't remember what that is now. Is it 2nd Battalion? I'm not sure. But I've looked it up anyway, but it's slipped my mind at the moment. Unfortunately, I ran out of white T numbers, so I've had to put black on. I hadn't got any choice, really. Bit of a compromise, but I can live with that. Another Mark 3. Again, I've gone with the Irish Guards. 2nd Division again. I've gone with the Allied Star on that one, just for, you know, to make it a bit different, because I did see some with the Allied Stars on. This one took some doing, you know, finding all the right numbers for it, but I actually did in the end. So I've got its number on the side, correct with a picture that I've seen. Emblem wise, I couldn't see any with an emblem, so I've just gone for a standard 30 core rampant ball insignia on this one, and then took the numbers again from the Irish Guards unit Cromwell tanks. So I've gone with a number that follows on for that. I found the star on the bonnet. Obviously I've painted the for want of a better word, moo cow black pattern on the sides and top, and same again on the back. My little carrier, again gone with the Irish Guard symbol, Allied Star. Again, I had to go with a black number on this one. I hadn't got any more white numbers, but I can live with that. This one I had to use a combination of several pictures to make this one up. I've seen the pictures with the Allied Star. I've seen them with the Armoured Division and the Irish Guards. The number I've just tied in with other numbers that I've got. I did find the right T number in white for this one that went on another M5 photograph that I saw, so I've gone with that. And again, I've tied it into the same division as some of the tanks. So that's that one. The Joe Vanderleer one. I have seen multiple pictures of this and different models that other people have made, and everybody seems to be using one of two different numbers. Some have got a green 62 on, some have got the red 53, the majority have got the red 53. Not that it's any indication of it being accurate, but I did notice in the film Bridge Too Far it had got the 53 and the Irish emblem, and I've seen other models by other people, you know, the larger model kits that are showing it with a 53. So I've gone with that. It seems to sit well. I've had to go with the T number on the side there on that one. I've only put the one on that one. So that's Joe Vanderleer. I'm doing my read up. I saw that the Royal Artillery, the 7th, were there. So I've got their emblem on there. And then I've tied the number to the same divisional number as the quad, Morris quad, and the truck, the CMP. So that's all of them. Did I say that I enjoyed doing decals? I think I did. Probably over the fun area now. I feel like I've done enough decals to last me for some time. So, but I'm pretty pleased with what I've got. I am sure there are going to be rivet counters that will say you shouldn't have that, the weight badge is in a different place, all kinds of things, but I've done the best that I can. I know what it's supposed to represent, so I'm just not going to lose too much sleep over it. I have tried to research it as best I understand, and without, you know, taking a hell of a lot longer, I'm pretty happy with what I've got. I've seen evidence of some of them in museums, so I've seen them in the books that I've got. So if they're tied to them, I'm happy enough. So that's that side done. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give a small dab of matte varnish over all of these decals now. So as you can imagine, it's going to take me some time. I'm only doing that just to make sure that they are completely coated on. I do, when I've finished the model entirely, I will dust it with some matte varnish anyway. But I just like to seal these down just to make sure they don't move. It also protects them when I start to put the weathering on in case they lift again when I'm, you know, weathering different parts of the tank. So that's what I'm going to do now. So what I'll do is I'll bring you back when I'm ready to start the weathering process. See you soon. Right, so the next thing that we need to do, now that they're dry and the transfers are on securely, is that some of them look a little bit too pristine. So what I like to do is give a little bit of a chipping effect, wear effect on some of the transfers. And what I do for that is I use some of the base colour, whichever colour it is, obviously on this one where there's bits of black, then I'd use black as well. But for this one, I'm just going to use a little bit of army green, just put a tiny bit out. And Then, you know, the sponges that come in the packs with the soldiers sometimes, I just tear off little tiny bits of that, dip it in the paint, so you get a little bit of paint on, but then dab it on a piece of kitchen towel till you've got nearly everything off. You don't want too much on. If I just pick this one up, let me zoom in a bit. If you look at the star, just dab it on it. You can do as little or as much as you want. Depends whether you want it to be a subtle or you want it to be really worn. A bit more. Do it on the crease of the bonnet. You can see it now. It's like chipping at the high point. I mean, I can do a little bit more on this yet, but it don't need to be a lot. You need to keep in mind where, you know, it would naturally chip. Any excess that you don't like, you can just wipe off with your finger because you've given it that cover. Do the same on some of the little ones as well. It just gives it that bit more of a feeling that it's been on there and it's been worn over time rather than it looking like it's just been directly added. Same with the number thing. Go. A little bit more paint. Right, so if I show you these now, I've missed one. Missed the 42 on the front. I get very much, but we'll get some. There we go. You can see it's took that that pristine look off of it. It's a subtle thing, but it does make a big difference. Right, so what I'll do now is I'll crack on and get all the others done to the same level. And then next week, in the next part 4, we can look at doing more of the weathering that follows on from this, and take the models through to their finished game ready stage. Right, so I'll wrap this one up and just say thanks for joining me. Hope you found some of it useful. If you have, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and why not subscribe so you can see when the next parts come out. Okay then, thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.